Welcome to Sinister Motives, the channel that examines history's most notorious murder cases. Be sure to hit that subscribe button as we drop videos every week. And make sure to hit the notification bell to stay up to date with the latest stories. Now let's jump right in.
Facing a murderer can be traumatizing. Imagine a killer that has absolutely no remorse over their actions, who laughs as if he was above humanity. This story is not about Israel Keyes. In fact, it's a tribute to the tragedy of Samantha Koenig and other victims that met their end too soon. Born in Cove, Utah, Israel Keyes was the second of 10 children to parents who did not like government interference. This means he grew up off the grid in a remote forest without electricity. In the 90s, the family settled in Maine and Keyes began stealing from the neighbors. He said he spent time in the woods and hunted anything with a heartbeat. He went on to join the military, and in 2001 he faced a dishonorable discharge. He had no choice but to live with his daughter and her mother. Having renounced the Christian faith, Keyes had severed ties with his family. He was problematic but remained out of trouble until he became careless in his methods. In 2012, he was arrested for the murder of 18-year-old Samantha Koenig. Samantha Koenig had recently started working at a coffee shop in Anchorage, Alaska. She was pleasant with the customers and got along with everyone. On that fateful night of February 1, 2012, Samantha was at the end of her shift at Common Grounds coffee stand when a man in a ski mask approached the stand to order a coffee. The barista was getting the order ready when he pulled out a gun and demanded money. The teen can be seen doing exactly as she's told. The man later tied her with zip ties and put her in his car, and after her failed attempt at escaping, he moved her to a different location. Keyes convinced her it was a ransom-related kidnapping. They drove back to the kiosk to retrieve her phone and text her boyfriend, who was due to pick her up. The text read, "Hey, I'm spending a couple of days with friends, let my dad know." That was the last anyone heard from Samantha Koenig. Israel Keyes tied her up in a shed at his house and turned up the music so no one would hear her scream. He then went to her address and broke into her boyfriend's truck to get her debit card. There, the killer was discovered by Samantha's boyfriend, who assumed he was just a burglar. Little did he know that once he fled from the house, this monster would rape and then strangle his girlfriend. After assaulting and then taking Samantha's life, he pushed her into a cupboard. Keyes proceeded to lock up his shed, wake his daughter for school, and left for a pre-planned cruise to New Orleans. Unmoved by his own horrific actions, the killer enjoyed his vacation. Upon his return on February 17th, he prepared a ransom note for $30,000 to be deposited into her account. He took her frozen, lifeless body and sewed her eyes open with a fishing line, applying makeup to make her appear alive. He methodically took a picture of her with that day's newspaper and sent the message to her boyfriend. While the community gathered the funds for the ransom money, the heartless Keyes dismembered and disposed of her body by making a hole in the ice and dumping the remains.
Good evening, everyone. The massive search for missing barista Samantha Koenig is over, but it's not the news family and friends were hoping for.
Eventually, authorities were able to find him after he used her debit card once the ransom money came in. Keyes was pulled over for running a stop sign where police discovered dye-stained bills from a previous bank robbery along with Samantha's belongings. He was arrested immediately. During his interrogation, Keyes remained jokingly and sarcastic about the crime.
There's probably going to be a lot of vigilantes guarding the door on that one.
In fact, he explained all the areas where he had murder kits to kill people. He confessed to murdering 7 people. The names included Bill and Lorraine Currier. He said that his one rule was no parents and no children. Keyes mentioned that he targeted random people across the United States. To avoid detection, he planned for months before he committed a particular crime. He specifically went for campgrounds and isolated locations. He claimed to only use guns when he had to and preferred strangulation. He said that he got pleasure from watching his victims lose consciousness in the struggle. Police were able to connect him to murders and disappearances that happened when he was in the area. Keyes committed suicide while being held in jail on December 2, 2012, by cutting his wrists and strangulation. A suicide note was found under his body, with an acclamation to murders, which did not make much sense because it offered no clues about other possible victims. In 2020, the FBI released the drawings of 11 skulls and 1 pentagram, which had been drawn in blood and found underneath Keyes' jail cell bed after his suicide. One of the drawings included the phrase "We are one" written at the bottom. The FBI believes the number of skulls correlates with what are believed to be the total number of his victims. Be sure to hit the subscribe button as we drop new stories every week.